On the campus of Concordia Seminary in Clayton, in the Kristine K. Hasse Memorial Library, back behind the Rare Book Reading Room, which is adjacent to the Rare Book Storage Room, is where you'll find this library's rarest book of all. So valuable, we can't show you exactly where they keep it, but we can show you exactly what it is.
Apparently Bach bought it for his personal use.
Yes, that Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach. And this was his family Bible. And not just any Bible, but a 3-volume study Bible, published in German with commentary by Lutheran theologian Abraham Kalov. But it's not Kalov's commentary that makes this Bible priceless.
The really fascinating thing about this Bible is it's not just Bach's signature on the title page. We have his marginal annotations and some fairly lengthy comments throughout. And his comments on passages where he talks about music in the Old Testament celebrations and things like that are really pretty interesting for Bach scholars to look at.
Take, for example, Bach's comments, handwritten in German, scribbled alongside 2 Chronicles 5.
The note that Bach writes in the margin here says, "Note well, where there is devotional music, God with his grace is always present."
Bach's substantive comments are few and far between, but when he does offer his thoughts, they seem to close the book on long-held notions that Bach was not particularly devout, even though he wrote a lot of church music.
Bach was a very religious person, a very convinced Lutheran. What that side note says is, "Note well, this chapter is the true foundation of all God-pleasing church music." It seems he's looking for this in the Bible, the connection between music and worship and music and God.
The Bach Bible has undergone years of scrutiny to verify its authenticity.
In 1982, it was sent off to a lab at UC Davis for some very advanced testing of the ink, which they could really do for the first time without destroying a sample. They proved that it is consistent with what Bach would have had at hand for ink, that it matched other samples, and so it was kind of beyond a reasonable doubt actually his writing.
The story of how Concordia Seminary came into possession of the Bach Bible is itself a tale of biblical proportions. Beginning with a German immigrant who bought it from a used bookseller in Philadelphia in the early 1800s. They think this marking somehow indicated the price. The buyer was Ludwig Richelieu, who eventually passed it on to his son, who lived in Michigan.
In 1934, a pastor from Detroit went to a conference of the Synod in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and stayed with his cousin's family. His cousin's husband wanted to show him an old German Bible that his father had had. And he brought it down, showed it to this pastor, and the pastor noticed right away Bach's signature on the title page.
The pastor, knowing the president of Concordia Seminary was a Bach enthusiast, told him about the Bible. In 1938, Concordia's president acquired it for the library. Scholars have been studying it ever since. There are 6,000 books in Concordia Seminary's rare book collection, each with a story to tell. But the real value of the Bach Bible is that it speaks volumes about the person who owned it.
The big thing we learn about Bach from looking at especially his notes in the Bible is the way he thought about music and God, how he combined his faith and his work, and really thought about what it means that music is being performed in a church. He saw a very deep connection there, perhaps a connection that transcends words.